Hey guys, as you can tell, I am back inside for my second video of the day because we're not going to have any problems in this video. I'm not going to drop the phone or we're not going to run out of Wi-Fi because I'm not going to move. How about that? So I am here to talk to you about the Steelers versus the Bears and how they went to overtime with the Bears winning in week 3. Who's ready to get into the highlights? That's right, I am, and let's do it, guys. Alright, so the standings for the Steelers are Ravens are 2-1 in the conference, and Steelers are 2-1 with Bengals 0-3 and the Browns 0-3. So as you can see, they're in the top half of their conference, which is great, and they're looking to move farther up. I know this game, obviously, with them losing 17-23, wasn't how they wanted, but it went into overtime, and both teams had, I would say, a pretty good game. They both worked really hard, and you can see that when I talk throughout the highlights. As for the Vikings in their conference, they are 2-1, leading the conference, or for the Vikings, sorry, I'm thinking about last video. I mean, for the Bears, the Vikings are 2-1 in their conference, the Lions are 2-1, Packers are 2-1, and the Bears are 1-2. With the Bears being in the bottom of the conference, but this game was hopefully the first of many for them for winning, and we'll go from there. For the Steelers, their head coach is Mike Tomlin, and the head coach for the Bears is John Fox. And on the other sheet of paper I just don't want to move the phone too much, I have stats for both of the coaches. And move it here out of the way. Mike Tomlin, the coach of the Steelers, he is the 5th youngest head coach in professional sports and the 16th head coach for the Steelers. He won Super Bowl X1, 2, and I was going to look for the number and I forgot to look for that, so I will look it up later and comment on the video. And that was on February 1st, 2009 versus the Cardinals. He's the youngest head coach in the NFL history to win a Super Bowl. And he started coaching in 1995 as a college level at Virginia Military Institute. He was a wide receiver coach. He also worked at the University of Memphis, University of Tennessee, and Arkansas. Then finally a defense back and coach for the University of Cincinnati before he came to the NFL in 2001 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as defensive back coach, And in 2006, he went to the Vikings for the same position, a defensive back coach. And then finally in 2007, on January 27th, he was the Steelers head coach. And like I said before, he's the 16th Steelers head coach and the youngest for the team. So just in those few stats, you can tell that he's pretty decorated as a coach and he's pretty well known in the sport. He also that's pretty awesome to be the youngest. And moving on to Bears head coach John Fox. Here, I can move it so you guys can see a little bit better. He also coached the Broncos and the Panthers. He started as a defense back coach at the International University in 1980 in college, or as a college coach, as I said. And he was also a defensive back coach for Boise State. Right, the way it listed, it seemed like it was right after the International University. It just didn't give me a date or a year. As for the NFL, he started there in 1989 as a secondary coach of the Steelers, then later with the Chargers. Also defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Raiders, so you can tell that that's been a while because the Raiders are obviously not in Los Angeles anymore. And then also for the Giants, the New York Giants, which as far as I know, that the Giants have basically always been in New York. And then finally coming to the Bears on January 16th, 2015, he signed a 4-year contract, and his record is 6-10, and the record for his first season was 6-10. So in 2015, he signed a 4-year contract, so that means that he'll be there until 2019, because 4 years. So obviously he's with the Bears for a few more years, and we will see what happens from there. But it looks like he's doing pretty good so far, with the first record being 6-10. Well, first record being 6-10, not a huge, great job, but pretty good. So we'll see what happens from there. And then moving on into the, let's see, where are we? Oh yeah, moving on into the game highlights. there was about, I'm just going to go through kind of like I've done previous videos, about saying what the highlights are, who scored when, who was the player, and a little bit of history behind the player. So starting with that, about 9 minutes left in the first quarter, number 24, Jordan Howard, gets a touchdown for the Bears. It was a handoff, from QB Glennon and he ran right through the line of scrimmage. And a little history on both players. Well, here, I'll start with quarterback Mike Glennon. He is 27 years old, and this is his 5th year in the NFL, and he played college ball at North Carolina State, and his number is number 8. And then moving on, with 16:18 left in the first quarter, Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger gets sacked with lots of pressure from the Bears defense, loses control of the ball, and is picked off by Bears number 37, and was the one with the sack, ripping him right down to the ground. Number 37 is Bryce Cullen. He's a cornerback, CB, I mean. And he is 25 years old. He has 3 years experience in the NFL, and he went to Rice College to play. And then the start of the second quarter, Bears quarterback Mike Glennon, like I said before, was sacked by number 56, Anthony Chickolo, and he's a linebacker, and he's 24 years old, This is his 3rd year in the NFL, and he played college ball at Miami. About 6 minutes left in the first half, Roethlisberger passes quick to his left to number 84, Antonio Brown, and he jumps into the end zone while getting tripped up by a Bears defense. And as I was watching the highlight of this, he literally had to jump over the Bears defense. Like, there was 2 guys coming at him, and he had to go whoop right over as I dropped my notebook. Anyways, but it was a great play, and that's why I just wanted to kind of definitely emphasize on that, because that's part of the game, and you gotta get to the end zone somehow, and he did it. So the stats on him, he, like I said, Antonio Brown, number 84. He's a wide receiver. He is 29 years old, and this is his 8th year in the NFL, and he played college ball at Central Michigan. On to the next page of notes. For a little under 3 minutes left in the first half, there's a touchdown for the Bears with number 87, making it a pass complete in the left side of the end zone. And number 87 is Adam Sheehan. He's a tight end, and he's 23 years old. And this is his rookie season, and he got a touchdown in week 3. Woo! Who else is excited? Comment below. Anyways, and he went to college in, it says Ashland. I'm assuming that doesn't mean Ashland, Wisconsin, because that'd be a little weird having a guy that is in the NFL go to a college in Ashland when all I know that's there is WITC. So, with that, I'm assuming there's a different kind of Ashland, but it didn't comment on, or I mean, didn't say next to his name. So, and then in 5 seconds left in the first half, Steelers set up for a field goal, but it's blocked by Bears number 31, who, 31, who runs in what looks to be all the way for a touchdown, but about I want to say the 3rd-yard line, maybe. He slows down right before the line and gets half-tackled by Steelers number 89 and falls into the end zone with ball flying out of his hands. And it honestly looked like I don't know how to explain it. It looked kind of like, really, you couldn't just run all the way into the end zone? Like, I don't understand. I get that he thought that he had it, but I just don't get why guys just stop and are like, oh, I'm just going to walk in now, like when there's 2 big guys chasing after me, probably over 200 pounds. Like, that's a little insane. But anyways, so number 31, the guy on the Bears that ran it in, or thought that he ran it in, his name is Marcus Cooper Sr. He's 27 years old, and he has 5 years experience, and he's a CB, which is a cornerback. And he went to school at Rutgers College. And then number 89 on the Steelers, the guy that got the ball, basically tackled, like half-tackled him is kind of how I wrote it in my notes, but that bounced the ball out of Cooper's hand is Vince McDonald. He's a tight end, and he's 27 years old. He has 5 years experience in the NFL, and he went to Rice College. So then, of course, since there's a bunch of commotion on the field after this happened, there's a flag on the field, and it comes back with no touchdown, not happening, nope. Refs are like, nope, it fell, no touchdown. So then, of course, as I was watching the highlights, the cameraman of the I'm assuming it's the NFL that put up the highlights, because that's it. That's at least what it said, or told me. The cameraman showed Cooper, and he obviously, I wrote in my notes, it says that it showed him, and you could tell that he was saying stuff, but he was like punching one hand into another hand, like kind of a fist sort of thing, and Lord only knows what he's saying, but they, of course, didn't show what he was saying, so use your imagination on that one. But anyway, so they go for a field goal, and it was good, making it 17-7 going into the half. Then, starting off in second half, was only words are a good thing to say, right? With only about 6.5 minutes left in the third quarter, Steelers first and goal, Roethlisberger hands it off to number 26, which is Le'Veon Bell, that jumps over the man pile to get the touchdown. Woohoo! Go Steelers! And when I say man pile, there was literally like 4 guys just in a pile, like you usually see in football. And for Bell's stats, he is a RP. He is 25 years old, and he has 5 years experience in the NFL, and he went to college at Michigan State. And moving on to the start of the fourth quarter, with both QBs getting sacked. Both Roethlisberger and Glenn got sacked. Boop, just one after the other. Boop, boop. Just on the floor, ground, whatever you want to call it. Like, come on, guys, really? You're quarterbacks. You're supposed to, like, not do that, right? Well, it happens to the best of us. Anyways, 8 minutes left in the game. Steelers kicker, number 9, Chris Boswell, has a 32-yard field goal, and it is good! Woohoo! With 18 seconds left, and before I go into that, I should probably tell you the stats of Mr. Boswell. He is 26 years old. He has 3 years experience in NFL, and he went to Rice College. With 18 seconds or so left in the game, Roethlisberger gets sacked by Willie Young, number 97. Woohoo! Go Bears! Well, at least that's what Bears fans are saying. Steeler fans, on the other hand, probably were not saying that. They were a little upset with Roethlisberger. Anyways, for that, and for Young's stats, he's an outside linebacker, which that's the first time I've ever heard that term. I actually had to, when I saw that, I had to look it up on a different website to see exactly what that meant. So it didn't really give me an exact definition of it, but I'm assuming it's obviously more on the outside of the line. He is 32 years old, and he has 8 years experience in the NFL, and he went to North Carolina State for college. And then we move into overtime because both teams decided they wanted to play a little extra time. I guess that's probably the best way you could say it, right? And moving into overtime, the Bears thought they got a touchdown with number 29 running over half the field and won the game, right? Nope. Nope, not at all. It was called that he stepped out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Literally ran his butt off all the way to the end zone. Nope, had one little foot out of line at the 37-yard line. That was like, oh my gosh, nope, not happening. And of course, they showed him on the sideline as well, and this is the one where they definitely did not show his face on what he was saying. But, like I said before, you can just imagine what he was thinking and or saying on the sidelines. Then the Bears come back after that as it got called back, so they had to obviously start at the 37-yard line. And then the Bears come back with number 24, gets a handoff from Glenson, the quarterback, and says game over by running in for a touchdown. So the Bears win in overtime of a score of 17-23. And like I said before, that puts them at the standings of 1-2 for the Bears and 2-1 for the Steelers. And so with that, and that's just kind of a rundown of the whole game, like I said it would be. And it was a great game for me to watch the highlights. I unfortunately didn't get to watch much of this actual game because I was working. But again, it's awesome that we have the capability of going back and seeing the highlights. The other thing that I kind of wanted to mention, like I said I was going to mention on my page, is all of this talk about what happened last weekend with some players kneeling down during the national anthem. With that, I'm not really sure, I guess, to say exactly what to say about it. I do know that there is a lot of talk about this. A lot of people believing that it isn't right for the players to kneel down because that is basically, for lack of better words to say, a disgrace to, and I don't really know if I want to say disgrace because that's kind of a harsh term, but not nice to our flag. I mean, we all know, we've all been to history class, we know what the flag represents. We know that the United States of America is a big country, that's our flag, and we work hard for it. All of the men and women that go overseas to fight for our country, they fight extra hard, and they know the sacrifice it takes to be the land of the free. This is obviously a very serious conversation to have, a very serious topic, and I've seen many videos, some that I shared that I did appreciate what they were saying, like the guy Graham, I can't think of his last name right now, he was saying in his video how he shared one video about it and then came back and said another, and how, yes, we all have the right to say what we believe because that's why these men and women are going and fighting for us, but that isn't always the right thing. And I think that's kind of where I stand with it, with being, yes, you do, like, NFL players do have the right to kneel during the national anthem. They have the right 100 times over. Go ahead. Great for them. But is that really the right thing to do? Is that really going to show proof to anybody that there isn't enough rights for African Americans, whites, no matter what race you are, if you're purple, white, blue, pink, whatever you are? Is that, I just don't know if that's really the case, on if that's really going to do anything much better. That, I guess that was kind of a weird way of saying it. But just kneeling down, I don't know if that's really going to show what you mean. There was also a lot of videos that I watched with people that were burning their NFL gear, their t-shirts, their jerseys. They were showing the players that they didn't agree with what they were doing to kneel during the national anthem. As you can tell, I obviously don't stand with them for kneeling for the national anthem, but I do understand that they were trying to show a point to the electives in our country, the president, and so on. It's a hard topic because I know a lot of people think different things, and that's fine, but I don't know if burning your stuff for your teams was also showing anything either.